Now let's pick from where we left, and we are going straight to this side of the clamp, and let's create a clamp here. Now with aid of these centers here, I'm going to create a center point here and offset the points that will help us in creating the locations of our U-bolt. So I'll come to edit and come to points here, and I want to create a center point on that using the edges, the centers of these edges, so that's okay. So prior to that, let me just check also the full dimensions here. So I'll come to measure. So I want to measure this from that end to that end. So that is 125. So I'm going to offset this center point here at a distance of 50-50, so that we have center to center of the bolt as 100 millimeter. So let me select on it, right click and come to special copy here and pick on linear. So under linear, with respect to the direction of the x-axis in this particular case, so let's change everything here except the axis I'm working on. So in this particular case, I'm using working with x-axis. So let me, because it is pointing the opposite direction, I have to prefix that dimension with a negative sign because we're moving the opposite direction. So let me just key in a negative sign there and key in 50. So I'll click 50 right there. So I'll right click and right click and come to copy, and I'll copy it from that spot and snap it at the center right there. So we have that in place. So I'm going to offset this up by 40. Again, right click, but this time around we are going to use a z-axis. So I'll come to linear and come to z-axis here and change everything to z. And if I come to z-axis, I'm going to prefix that dimension by 40, the negative 40, because we're moving downward of z-axis. So let me click on that and have that in place. So I'll right click, and since our initial selection is still active, let me copy it from that spot and snap it right there. So I think you've noted that. So let's delete that, and we have these three, and the most important one are these four. Now we can either copy this, which is easier. So let me just select on that, select on that, select on that, select on that, and that also. So if I come to view and come to navigate with mouse and pick my rotation point, and I want to select the members I want to copy in that direction. So let me pick on it and pick on that and pick on that. So I've picked whatever I want to carry along, and let me just rotate that. So I'll be very keen enough to make sure I snap on the right position. So let me just right click and come to copy, and I want to snap on that spot. So once I've snapped on that spot, and I'll do the same thing here. So let's try to be very accurate. So our accuracy is not in the right location. Still okay, but we need to mirror everything to face the right direction of everything. So what I'm going to do, I'm going to mirror everything from where we are. So what I'm going to do, I'm going to redraw. I'm going to left click on empty screen, then right click and come to redraw. So once I've selected that, I'm going to shift my XYZ plane, or just leave it as it is, but I'm going to select everything once again here. I'll select that, select on that, and select on this. So I'll select everything I need to mirror. So let me just turn this around like that. Once I've turned it like that, right click and come to interrupt, press Control, and include the selections that we've left out, the members that we've left out. So let me come to navigate once again and pick rotate with mouse, and I want to rotate that. So I want to use the midpoint of this edge as my mirror line. So I'll right click and come to special copy, right click and come to special copy, and come to mirror. So I want to use this edge here as my mirror, define that and define that. So if I click copy, I would have created a mirror, but we need to undo that and use a move, because we'll have to delete everything manually, which will not be right. So let me just come to mirror under move, and I want to define my mirror line from that spot and come here and click move. So once I've done so, I'll be able now to move everything in this direction, but they're still in the same position that we had picked previously. So it will be somehow accurate. So still on the y-axis, I'm going to move everything in this direction. So I'll right click and come to special move and pick on linear. So on the y-axis, I'm going just to click everything to move like that until I get this end gripping that frame on the far end here. So once we are closer enough, we can go ahead now and reduce the move distance, and we can move slowly but accurate without any creating a clash. And we've done one there. So if I come to navigate here and try rotate this member, let me just press escape, try rotation, and I want to rotate about that spot. So you can see we've created that member here. So you can see some issues that we need to address. I want to move, let me first of all redraw. So I want to move these nuts. Select on that, select on that, select on this, select on the nuts, all the nuts. So we want to move these nuts in the direction of Y, but opposite. So let me right click and come to special move and pick on linear. So on the opposite direction of Y, let me prefix this dimension by negative sign. So let's move it until we get hold of that clamp. So we'll move it closer to the clamp, and we've clashed to the clamp. So that's okay. So that position is okay. So where we are, we can just go ahead, right click and come to interrupt, right click and right click once again and redraw. So we've done so, and we have that in place. So if I come to navigate, I can always rotate that accurately. So what we want to copy everything downward. So prior to that, let me just put this into a position that I'll be able to select everything accurately like that. So I'll be able to get to remove the lines. I remove the lines here, deselect the lines from our selection like that. Remove that from our selection, remove that from our selection. So which one remaining? That one remaining. And there's a line at the center there that so we have also to remove this one from the selection. We have also to remove this one from our selection. So let me come to navigate, and I want to rotate this like this. So once I've done so, I'm going to copy it from this far end by clicking copy, and I can always pick it from that spot and try whether I'll be able to snap here perpendicularly. This might not be accurate, but I need something very accurate that will not create some information that not agreeing to, that are not making sense here. So let me just turn that, and I've noted this is the center. So since I've noted the center, I'll pick it from the center here, right there. So if I zoom out, I'll be able to match that center with this. So once I've done so, I've created the full thing here. So we have everything in place. So the next thing I'm going to do, I'm going to double click on the screen. Or first of all, let me just come here and create, just type a cap right there. And we want to cover this because there will be water or rainy season. During rainy season, the water, if we leave this open, it might promote some corrosion. So let me just select this member and close that and double click on it. So that will come. This will take us to a dialog box that will help us in modifying the properties here. So let me just click that drop down arrow, and we want to change this plate to 8 millimeter, or just 6 millimeter is okay. I'll click apply and give it an okay, and that's okay. So I'll do the same thing at the bottom end here. at the bottom end here. So I'll select on that and snap right at the center right there. So I'll right click, left click once again, and redraw. So what we have is this. And now this is what we want to populate around. Perfect. So, and to populate this around, we need first of all to define our rotation point. So I have to go all the way to the bottom end here and now put our rotation points in place. So this one is still active there. So we don't need to create one. So what I'm going to do, I'm going to copy all this so that when we start copying, populating around it, around the legs, we'll be able to copy the right things. So let me just zoom close and copy and select on that and remove anything that we don't need. Remove anything that we don't need. I'll remove that, I'll remove that, I'll remove that. I'll copy that, I'll select on that, I'll select on that, I'll select on that because let me select on everything there. Let me select that and come here and try get isolate whatever we don't want to select. So let me come here and select everything here, and let me get rid of the lines here because we don't need the lines. So let me get rid of that, and we are set and everything is set. So I have to include that, I have to include this. So I picked whatever I want to carry along. So what's remaining here just to populate this around the three legs. So let me just come to spatial rotate, and I want to rotate with line up at about a point. So I'm going to define my rotation point at the bottom end here. So this was my center. So I'm going to define that. So you see the moment I define the line, you'll be able to see the coordinates resets to match my rotation point. So let me just move up here, and I want you to see how we rotate everything here. So once I've picked everything and that I want to rotate or populate around the three legs, I'll go ahead and click copy. The moment I click copy, we'll be able to copy everything here. So let me just, prior to redrawing, check whether everything's right. I'll assume everything's right, and I'll come left click, right click, and redraw. I have redrawn everything right there, and I have this in place. So if I turn this like that, I'll be able to have my antennas in place. But you see the massive points here that makes our work look much clogged or busy. So to do that, or to hide some members, I'll just double click on the screen here and come to display. So once we are in display here, I'll be able to hide the points so that we don't clog everything, and I can also hide the construction lines there. So I'll click apply and give it an OK, and give it an OK right there, and click apply and give it an OK. So if we come back, we'll find everything clean. So if I turn it like this, we'll be able to see we have this in place, and it looks nice. So this will be the frame that will be holding the antennas. You can see that. So I'm bringing it close. You can see we have that in place. So I hope you try this by yourself, and I think it will work better for you. But we are not done yet. We are moving. We are heading to almost the second last or the third last step with Guy Mast Tower over 66 meters high. So let's meet then, and I hope you try this by yourself. And if you try, make it. That will be my great happiness. That's better, and that you've learned something. So let's meet then. Bye bye.